Welcome back, supernatural enthusiasts, to another episode of Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick.
And I'm Brandon. Today, we're going to be discussing cursed locations, kicking off a new 3-part series. Get ready because this is the new norm for us, everybody.
Exactly. Moving forward, instead of one lengthy episode, we're going to be splitting our content into about 3 20 to 30-ish minute segments. You can catch these new episodes every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget about my weekly video that drops every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern.
So let's jump into it with today's cursed location. Skinwalker Ranch, a place shrouded in mystery.
I mean, that's right, Brandon. Skinwalker Ranch has a reputation of being creepy and mysterious, and it all begins with its name. Skinwalker. Derived from the Native American folklore, in Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn into, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal.
Yeah, the Skinwalker phenomena, the Skinwalker reports really fascinate me. I haven't dug as deep as you on the Skinwalker stuff. I've lately been going a little bit off on some tangents about, more UFO stuff, but that kind of ties into Skinwalkers for sure, because there's a lot of reported UFO activity through the years over there. But I'm more focused on what the entity, the creature, the Skinwalker is.
Yeah.
As you stated, it's a witch.
Yeah.
That's what one report of it is. Another report is that it's like this. It's an actual cryptid. Like it was never a person. It was never a witch. It's never a person. But the origin of the Skinwalker is from the Navajo culture.
Yeah.
And the witch putting on, like isn't there a method for the witch to disguise itself as an animal by like wearing the skin of an animal and
I think so. I think I did hear that. It's a lot of like, they don't really, like the Navajo culture and all, they don't really describe in detail all that stuff. There's some stuff they want to keep like a mystery, and I could respect that.
Yeah. I have been stumbling across some stories though lately of people telling of their experiences with / encounters with what they believe to be Skinwalker, because Skinwalkers have been reported to be able to make like mocking voices, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I heard this story the other day of this lady who was asked to house sit her parents' house and take care of the dogs while they went on a vacation, and it was just her and like I think 2 dogs, like pretty big sized dog. I think one's like a German Shepherd and the other one was like a Great Dane or something. Like they're pretty big dogs. They're not known to be fearful of a larger animal, because they're like, oh, I could take you on. But in this story, she says that she was, I think, sitting in her living room, and she hears what sounds like her father's voice from outside.
What?
Yeah. But she said she describes it as distorted. Like it sounded just like her father, but there was something eerie about it, something off-putting or uncanny about the voice.
She knew
it wasn't her father. But she's like, why does that sound like my father? Like, so close.
That's so weird.
Is that an ability that the Skinwalker possesses? If it's a witch, is it, does it have this ability through its magic or its rituals it's doing, the person is doing? Or is this a completely separate entity that we're just getting mixed up with Skinwalkers, and it's a cryptid that possesses this ability?
I don't know. I've gone on investigations where I've actually heard voices where like, me and someone else have both heard voices, but nothing was captured. Maybe they have like that same aspect where they can kind of manipulate voices and only make you hear those things. It's so strange.
What's extra creepy about it to me is, let's just go with the description of this for this woman's story. Let's just go with the description of the creature that she's having an encounter with is the cryptid Skinwalker. That's no relation to a person whatsoever. And let's say this creature has the ability to mimic the voice of someone close to you. That, like, that's creepy that it knows that the voice that it's mimicking to try to, some people say they're trying to lure in a victim for whatever it plans to do with the person. But it knows that the voice it's mimicking has some significance to you.
Yeah.
That's extra creepy because then that brings out more questions for me personally. Like, how does it know that? Is this being like interdimensional? Can it camouflage? Can it go invisible? Can it?
Well, that's gonna have a lot to do with the show that I was inspired from this from. It's The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up just a quick picture.
Now, where's the show? What's the show on? Is it what streaming service?
History, Discovery. I think they're all owned by the same. But I watch it on Hulu. They all own everything. So, but I did watch this on Hulu.
Just curious, so I can give it a watch myself.
Yeah, it's on all that. I mean, so this is basically Skinwalker Ranch.
So the area outlined there is
what they own.
Is what they own. That's weird that there's like they connected on the corner there. Like, why don't they own the land connecting it?
Sure. So like this is the basin here, which they own all this part of it too. So it's definitely creepy. But let's go in a little bit more into it.
Okay. All right. So the mysteries of Skinwalker Ranch don't end with its name. Over the years, it's been a hotspot for paranormal activity and unexplained phenomena.
I mean, definitely a lot of the groundbreaking research conducted on the ranch comes from the show, as we already mentioned, The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch. I highly recommend the show.
Now, I know the show's titled The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, but come on, there's got to be multiple secrets of Skinwalker Ranch, okay? So I just think the title might be a little bit misleading.
Yeah.
What's the secret? No. Oh, I want to know all of them.
But maybe it's all connected.
Absolutely. I absolutely believe so. Researchers like Dr. Travis Taylor and the current owner, Brandon Fugel, have dedicated themselves to unlocking the secrets of Skinwalker Ranch. Right there. The secrets. Plural.
I like that.
Conducting experiments and investigations in pursuit of the truth. And I just want to emphasize that in the paranormal community, the majority of us are involved in the community with all of our discussions and sharing of our encounters and experiences in the pursuit of truth. So I can absolutely respect and appreciate that what they're doing with this show, what they're trying to do at least.
100%. I mean, their efforts have led to some truly astonishing discoveries, from strange lights in the sky to odd frequencies that seem to coincide with other strange phenomena. And finally, the discovery of possible wormholes or portals.
Portals! I love portals! Portals, it's a theory. Multiple theories out there of how portals exist and what their significance is, different types or anything like that. I love it. Mentioning it just brings something out of me that I'm like, okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Some have called it a supernatural place. Others have deemed it cursed. Previous owner Terry Sherman got so spooked by the happenings on his new cattle ranch that 18 months after moving his family of 4 to the property, now known by many as Skinwalker Ranch in northeastern Utah, he ended up selling his 512-acre property.
That's crazy to be spooked that much. I mean, like that's a lot of land to just give up.
That's all. I imagine it must have been pretty expensive too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he and his wife, Gwen, shared their chilling experience with a local reporter in June of 1996. They saw mysterious crop circles and UFOs, and the Sherman said, and the systematic and repeated mutilation of their cattle was done so in an oddly surgical and bloodless manner. Within 3 months of this story, being published, Las Vegas real estate tycoon and UFO enthusiast Robert Bigelow bought the property for $200,000. And I will go ahead and tag the interview in the description. It is really fascinating done. And
I did want to mention, as Nick just said, about the mysterious cattle mutilations seemingly performed. Well, not seemingly. They upon investigation, they discovered that they were performed in such a surgical manner. It was extremely precise and with little bloodshed, like as little bloodshed as possible. Like there wasn't pools of blood everywhere. It was just Like maybe they use some sort of laser weapon that cauterizes as it cuts or something. I don't know. I haven't seen any pictures. It's hard to find pictures of these mutilations, right?
In that video,
There's pictures.
I just didn't want to show the whole video in here.
I haven't been able to find any. But I'm gonna watch that video.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find any myself. But there's also reports of cattle. I'm not sure on this property or not. I'm bringing something in because I've researched a lot of different areas, and sometimes things blend together. But there's also reports in the realm of cattle mutilations that some cattle are found like as if they're husks. Like they're completely drained of their blood. There's no blood in their body. They're not like mutilated and chopped up and pieces of them harvested. Their blood's gone. So it's just a dead cow with no blood laying there, dried out. Like that's crazy. So they're doing multiple things, and I have some theories that I'll probably get into in future episodes on a different topic about what these abductions / what these cattle mutilations are, what the purpose of them is for. Because if they're being extremely precise with their cattle mutilations, there's got to be a reason for that. And I think it's probably more than just their calling card, whatever these entities are. But I think just a teaser. I think they're doing some sort of hybrid program. If these are aliens or alien entities, interdimensional entities, whatever they are, from wherever, and they're coming in their spaceships, UFOs or whatever, UAPs, and they're performing these cattle mutilations and harvesting the blood. I've stumbled across in my research that there's people talking about how these entities, these aliens, have told them about their plans and their attempts at hybrids, making hybrids, and they're using this blood to do something. They're doing something with it, but exactly what we don't know. There's just theories. But we'll go into that deeper in a further episode.
Sorry, I was typing in there. I was trying to, you know what, screw it. I know we're probably gonna get copyrighted. I'll try to get rid of the copyright. But I just wanted to show just a little bit of this. So this is from History Channel. So this is a part of the interview. You can watch the rest on your own.
August 25th, 2004. Farnham, Nebraska. This is cattle country, where the farmers rise early to move their livestock to pasture.
I'm going to try to cut forward to the interview right here.
First thing I did, I come around the corner up there, and I seen this cow laying here. And I thought, well, it's just an old cow that dropped dead. I wanted to see how old of a cow was. And then the more investigation I seen her bag was gone.
But they actually show the cow.
Mouth up and her tongue was gone.
Whoa!
Yeah.
But this is where the story goes from unusual to strange.
I picked up her leg, and the first thing I noticed, and her udder was cut off. And there was a round circle about that size there, just a round circle where her udder was.
Standing over the remains, the ranchers are stunned by the fact there is no blood anywhere to be found on or around the scene.
Right. Yep.
Strangely, the damage to the hide seems precise and deliberate. This does not appear to be the work of predators.
So that's just a little segment on that. That's a really interesting watch. I will tag that video in there.
Yeah, and I think that supports the idea that it's not wildlife that's doing this, because if it was a beast of the earth that was like a wolf, a pack of wolves or something, it wouldn't be precise. It would be
nature wasn't made that way.
No, they would just be destroying the carcass and eating all the meat they can off of it and leaving some bones. Like, it would not be a precise cut. And why are they taking the udder? Like, what are they doing with it? They're trying to breastfeed their hybrids? I don't know, man. Anyway, we'll carry on. Under the name the National Institute for Discovery Science, Bigelow set up round-the-clock surveillance of the ranch, hoping to get to the bottom of the paranormal claims. It should be noted that Bigelow also partnered with the U.S. government, so entertain whatever level of skepticism you may have yourself. That surveillance yielded that surveillance yielded a book called Hunt for the Skinwalker: Science Confronts the Unexplained at a Remote Ranch in Utah, in which several of the researchers claimed to have seen paranormal activities. But apparently they were unable to capture any meaningful physical evidence supporting the Shermans' incredible stories. I might think that maybe if they did capture it, maybe they won't share it, because if the U.S. government is involved there, they may be trying to hide rather than expose things. That's my theory. That's where I go. I'm skeptical of that, like Area 51 type stuff. They don't want you to know what's going on there. They're secrets. So maybe there's some paranormal activity here, and they want to get involved so they get ahead of anything breaking out. That's my personal theory. But entertain whatever skepticism that you guys might have yourself. So yeah.
I mean, according to the Hunt for the Skinwalker, odd subjects have been spotted overhead since the first European explorers arrived. I mean, in 1776, reportedly, Franciscan?
Yes.
I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably butchering.
You are. No, you're
Franciscan good. Missionary Sylvester You're going to have to help me with this one.
Sylvester Velez de Escalante.
Yeah, that. Him. He wrote about strange fireballs appearing over his campfire in El Rey. And before the Europeans, of course, indigenous people occupied the Uinta Basin. I can't remember why I keep stuttering on that word. The Uinta Basin. I mean, today Skinwalker Ranch abuts the Uinta Basin, and Ouray.
I don't know how to pronounce that one. That's an Indian word. I would say
Ouray Indian Reservation. I apologize if I'm butchering any of that names. Of the Ute tribe as well. Were the Shermans seeing things that Native Americans had taken note centuries before?
I think that it's possible. I think it's likely, actually. But if it's skinwalker activity or interdimensional entities such as aliens, that's up to debate. I don't know. I think it's both. I think it's possibly both. Because the skinwalkers have different trademark things they do, right? And aliens and UFOs have different trademark things they do. So the experiences we're really discussing here in this section is the UFO and the alien interdimensional entity thing, because of the cattle mutilation specifically.
Maybe it was created by that because that's just what they interpreted it as at the time.
Maybe.
And that's just a way of them interpreting, like, Skinwalker, oh, this thing, like, maybe it is an alien or some sort of creature, but they just interpret it that way.
That absolutely could be, but I would exercise a little bit of skepticism towards that, because they have in their culture, in the Navajo culture, the Skinwalker is a witch.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're not describing it as a cryptid. Like an alien, but so I don't think so, but it could very well be possible. It could be, because like ancient cultures through time, even like back to ancient Egypt and the Greeks and all of that stuff in ancient Greece, they have different explanations for probably a lot of the same phenomena that other people around the world are experiencing.
Yeah, and
each culture explains it a different way. But with that being said, not everything that the Shermans saw on their ranch was skyborne UFOs. They also claimed to see mysterious large animals, most notably a wolf 3 times the size of a normal wolf. 3. Like, that's huge.
Have you seen a real wolf, like what they look like? They're already huge.
They're already big, yeah. And apparently, Terry shot that wolf at close range. He emptied a revolver into the animal because it was attacking his cattle.
That's 6 shots.
Yeah. Into a large wolf. 3 times the size of a normal wolf, so we could probably shrug those off. Still, 6 shots though. Like, where did he hit? Where did he hit it? Where did he place those shots? With seemingly no effect, he then shot it multiple times with a rifle until it ran off.
So, just ran off. It ran off.
Yeah, like it didn't just drop, and then he was able to examine the wolf specimen he just shot. Nope, it was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here, and it takes off.
And then we have something interesting. On the night of March 12th, 1997, after the ranch had been sold off, biochemist Callum Kellner Kelleher.
I think it's Colm
Kelleher, working with Bigelow's Institute for Discovery Science, claimed to have seen a large humanoid creature spying on the research team from a tree. As detailed in Hunt for the Skinwalker, the creature was approximately 50 yards away from them, watching them safely from a tree from 20 feet off the ground.
So, an average football field is 100 yards, right?
Yeah.
Like a regular football field, I should say, not average. So that's about half the length of a football field away. This thing was in a tree.
So for them to see this.
Yeah. Like, it's not that far. It's far, but it's not that far.
Yeah.
But 20 feet off in the tree. And it was big, right?
Well, yeah.
It was a big humanoid creature.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that there's theory? I haven't heard anything about Bigfoot activity on Skinwalker Ranch, but do you think that could have been potentially Bigfoot or something like that kind? Or do you think it's more the Skinwalker?
We could delve into that. That's a topic for another time. I think they might somehow be connected in some way.
I think so too. I think all of these, personally, I think all of these cryptids just like possess at least one key ability that each other possess. Like they all can do something, such as, in my theory, travel through the portal of the interdimensional and go from whatever realm they exist in, like naturally, that's where they're from, and they come into our world, into our realm of the physical plane of reality of existence, and they interact with things. That's my theory, that they all possess this ability. And I think that maybe they're having interdimensional parties when they're over there.
I mean, if you're a Skinwalker, I mean, they can possess anything. So wouldn't it be, connecting that they could, be any cryptid?
Wow, that's a good point. Huh. That's crazy. Well, the wolf that we just discussed, I think, could be Skinwalker activity, because that could have been what the Navajos describe as the witch.
Yeah. Taking
the form of an animal, or maybe with its ritual with the witch's ritual magic that it's doing, it increases the size of the wolf threefold. Maybe that's why it looks like a normal wolf and it's bigger. Or maybe it is the wolf. Maybe it, morphs into the wolf because it put on the pelt of a wolf and then did some magic and now it's a wolf. I don't know. I think that's possible. But we don't really know the answer to that one. Now, this creature in the tree, I think they're related to Skinwalkers for sure. But we don't really know, because the large creature that was in that tree, apparently, as quoted by Kelleher, he said the large creature that lay motionless almost casually in the tree, like it was just hanging out watching them. And the only indication of the beast's presence was the penetrating yellow light of its unblinking eyes as they stared fixedly back into the light. That is a common reporting of werewolf encounters. The yellow glowing eyes, not just yellow eyes, like the fact that it looks like they're illuminated from, like they have light bulbs in their eyes, or LEDs that light their eyes up. They glow. It's not like a reflection of the light hitting their eyes. They are glowing themselves. Lots of werewolf encounters talk about, or Dogman talk about the creature they saw having those glowing yellow eyes. It's very much yellow, and then there's a little bit of red. A couple of encounters will say red. Most of the time it's yellow. It's yellow. Those piercing yellow eyes, they were crazy. Never seen anything like them. So anyway, after Kelleher fired at the creature with a rifle, it disappeared. So Kelleher shot at this too. It was then that I saw a single obvious oval track, says Kelleher, about 6 inches in diameter, embedded deeply in the patch of snow. It looked unusual. A single large print in the snow with 2 sharp claws protruding from the rear of the mark, going a couple of inches deeper. It almost looked like a bird of prey, maybe a raptor print, but huge. And from the depth of the print, from a very heavy creature, says Kelleher. What do you think of that one? Raptor-like feet.
Well, didn't they say that raptors supposedly could have had wings? Like they could have possibly flown.
Like velociraptors?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
I really haven't. I mean, I personally think that the scientists doing dinosaur research stuff they don't know what they're talking about because they change their story every 10 years. Like when I was a kid, there was this stuff. Then, you know, I'm a teenager. Oh, we now learned that we were wrong about everything else. So just believe us on this now. It's like, wait a second, you were wrong on everything else. Now I'm supposed to believe this. Now I'm just skeptical of it all. Oh, there's no such thing as dinosaurs with scales. They all had feathers and they're evolved into chickens. Like,
I don't know. But
I mean, I'm not going to say it's not possible. I just don't trust where it's coming from personally.
That definitely sounds like a werewolf, though.
That sounds like a werewolf.
Yeah.
That sounds like a werewolf.
Or
what it's doing in a tree? I haven't really heard any stories of werewolves in the tree. Up in a tree.
Well, not that we know of. Maybe he was standing there so still. Maybe he thought that, like, they couldn't see him.
That's true. Maybe
I mean, like a lot, if you're going in the woods, like, how often are you looking up? How often are you looking up 20 feet, especially at night? At night, you're walking in the woods. You maybe have the flashlight on the ground, just trying to go where you're going. Maybe you see a little bit of the
actually, you're right. Because when I was a kid, well, I'm going to say a teenager around 16, 17, 18 years old, I would go explore the woods, the trails with my friend Logan in the back of his house, and we just go off in the woods, and we'd go 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, we just go explore, and we would have lights, the lights on our phones, or flashlights. Not all the time. Sometimes we'd let our eyes adjust to the dark and just go out there. But I don't know if this is just because I was scared at the time. Because more often than not, I'd get an uneasy feeling going through those trails exploring at night. But when we would have lights, if I'd hear something, I wouldn't point to look at it. I'd be like, nope, then it's going to know I know it's there. So I'm just going to keep looking forward, act like I don't hear nothing. So you're right. Like if I'm walking through the woods or walking through the trees or something, and there's something in a tree line, back then I would never turn it up and look up there. I'm not looking at the top of the trees because I'm like, if I don't see it, then I don't know it's there and I'm not scared. All because that's stemming from fear. All because I'm scared. All because I really am scared. So I can see where that's coming from. But nowadays, if I was out there doing something because I'm curious and I'm actually seeking for the truth, I would fearlessly confront it with the light, at least. And be like, whoa, there's something in the trees. Like, oh, that's crazy. Now let me get out of here.
All right, let's continue on here. Bigelow poured millions of dollars into studying the paranormal phenomena at Skinwalker Ranch, bringing in top scientists and researchers to unravel its mysteries.
Yet, even with all the resources at his disposal, Bigelow and his team were left with more questions than answers. Or at least that's what they say.
I mean, on the show, now we're talking about the secret of Skinwalker Ranch. Currently, with the new researches that are in, they use a device called a spectrum analyzer, which is used to analyze the frequency spectrum of radio frequency, RF signals for short. It can detect and display signal strength, frequency, and other characteristics of RF signals across a wide range of frequencies.
Well, they capture mysterious 1.6 gigahertz broadcast whenever any strange phenomena occurs on the ranch. And to us, it just seems too coincidental that whenever unusual events or strange activity are observed, this specific 1.6 gigahertz frequency signal appears to manifest. I think that there's definitely a correlation there. And I know correlation does not mean causation, but I think in this case, it just might be the case. Like
they actually took that frequency and were able to broadcast it out too to try to trigger things on the ranch,
and they got results,
and that got results too.
Right.
It's maybe it's some sort of communication that we're just not aware of, or maybe it's the opening of a portal or something. Especially when that like any strange phenomenon occurs, that frequency comes up.
Maybe that is the frequency
portal.
of the portal. Yeah. I've heard that theory. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to give away too many more details in case you haven't seen this season or if you've ever planned to watch it. But like we said in the beginning, their scientific experience may have actually found the possibility of wormholes or portals over the ranch. I mean, they capture a ton of UAPs. They even had the man who coined the term UAP on the show, Jay Stratt. He was a former director of the UAP task force.
And he was on the show this season.
He was on, yeah.
Interestingly enough, unbeknownst to the rest of the cast or even the current owner, Travis Taylor, PhD astrophysicist, was the chief scientist for the UAP task force.
So he was working with Jay Strutt.
Yep, and the fact that that was unbeknownst to the owner,
Everyone.
that just seems like they're being deceptive with their intentions, which leads to my theory that they're probably trying to cover things up more than they are expose things, because they're involved with the government and they came separately to be like, hey, we're working together, but don't tell anybody we are. Why? Why not just be transparent? If we're all trying to get to the truth, the best way to get to the truth is to be as transparent as possible with everybody you're working with.
Exactly.
Frustrating.
I mean, can we trust that these two individuals are telling the whole truth in their findings?
That's exactly what I was saying.
Or are they still reporting to the government?
There's a potential there.
And also, it's also should be noted that strange surveillance has occurred this season over the ranch, where even the Utah Attorney General has stated that it is the work of the government and that they have deemed it classified.
There we go. Right. They're trying to classify things.
You don't think that the other guys are aware of that? I mean, they see and they're like, oh, wow, what is that? You think they're like, oh, come on, guys, not right now. I don't know. I totally respect both those guys. They're very smart in their fields. Obviously, if they're that credible to work, in that field, and the government trusts them enough to operate such a task force.
Right. What I am saying personally is just to exercise a little bit of skepticism about their intent, not the individuals themselves, because maybe
Not
their
qualifications.
They have qualifications, yeah. Like maybe they have no idea that the agencies they're working for have different goals in mind than what they do. That's very possible. And if that's the case, I mean in no way to disparage their work. Like, we appreciate the work they're doing.
Absolutely.
But the agencies that they are working for, I don't fully trust them. I think that there's probably anti-disclosure attempts going on here. So yeah, with that being said, the exploration continues, and we can't wait to have you back for more revelations.
Remember, keep your questions and theories. I don't know why I'm these words right now. I just can't speak. Your questions and theories fuel our discussions, so please keep them coming.
Tune in to episode 2 tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Until then, stay curious and keep seeking the truth.
Thank you for being part of the Beyond the Hub family. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Once again, this is Beyond the Hub podcast, where the realms of the paranormal and conspiracies collide, and the truth is waiting to be unveiled. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.